Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Sean, and uh, as you can tell, my background has changed. Well, my whole living area has changed. Actually, I moved back home from where I was living in college. Um, so yeah, today I want to talk about um, buying albums in stores as opposed to buying your music off of iTunes. Originally, I was going to make this buying albums in stores as opposed to downloading them, but I realized that there's really no legitimate argument because to some people they would cite SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act, for saying that you download music you're stealing. Some people have criticized me in the past for buying my albums. I have a in I guess that direction. I've got I believe like 96 albums, something like that, that I've bought over the years. People ask me why do I buy my music? I say because I support the bands I listen to. But they say at the same time you can support your bands by downloading them off of iTunes. That is true, but I feel that um, if you own, like for me, the feeling of the actual album in my hand is a lot more powerful than opening my iTunes. Because what I typically do is I'll buy the album and then I'll put it on my iTunes, so I'll have two copies of it. What I've started doing actually is I bought a bunch of blank CDs, and I would burn a copy of each album, mainly so that the original would stay intact, because the original is obviously worth a lot more than the burned copy is. And obviously that would keep the real album's lifespan much longer than it already is. But I always felt a certain, I don't know, a certain degree of commitment, I suppose, to a band if you really like them, that you should um, buy their album, like actually buy it, not like. I understand that yes, you are supporting a band by downloading them off of iTunes, and you are paying logically close to the same amount because I believe it's 99 cents a song off of iTunes. So if you work that out with tax, you're looking at around the average album these days is between, I'm going to ballpark, well, most of the albums I have anyway are between 8 to 12 songs. So you're pretty much looking at $12, 12 to, depending on tax, $12 to $14 in total is what they're saying the CD would cost, which in reality is not how much it would cost. You're effectively robbing the artist of the money that they deserve, because a real uh, most of the albums I've bought that have been brand new have been in the price range of between $15 to $20. Brand new albums typically cost around that anyway. I have bought some of my albums on sale at HMV just because um, I wasn't alive when the album came out to start off with, so I had to buy it on sale. So in that case, you're still supporting the artist, obviously. Um, People always give me the weird look, like, really? You buy your albums? Why would you do that? Why would you waste your money? And I always say the same answer every time. It's because I support the bands I listen to. I always have and I always will. I'm a metalhead. I have the only complete discography I have at the moment, or close to complete, is Lamb of God. I have close to complete of AC/DC. Um, what else do I have that's close to complete? Rise Against, Rancid. Um, what else? Slayer is close to completion as well. And same with System of a Down. There are a lot of albums I would like to buy, a lot of discographies I'd want to have that are complete, but obviously money for most people is a tight thing. Me being a college student, it's a tight deal. It always is. But I always try and support the bands I listen to. Like the most recent album I bought, um, I believe it was the new Cancer Bats album, Dead Set on Living, which is the only album I actually own from them. The most recent was Dead Still and Living, and then the most recent outside of that one was Resolution from Lamb of God. And then there have been others since then, but I can't really remember them. I do download music. The only reason I download music is in the event that the band is I listen to a lot of international bands from South America. I listen to a lot of Brazilian thrash metal bands like Sepultura, Soulfly, Corzus, Violator, bands like them, Cavalier Conspiracy, etc. And there are times when those bands are not available in North American stores, and there's no way if the band is newly established that there's no merchandise available for them. I don't want to wait until the album goes on sale for their merch stores, so I will resort to downloading them. I do feel for a degree that is justifiable, in the fact that I do intend on buying the actual album down the road. Some people say otherwise, which is obviously their opinion. I can't fault that. But yeah, a lot of international bands, in terms of people who just simply in the country that they're in, like a lot of places in the Middle East, still have very tight laws in terms of what goes in and what, I should say what goes in terms of entertainment. A lot of countries have very strict policies upon that. And so they can't get access to the stuff we have. And so in their situation, I would say that yes, downloading music is a good thing for them because it is exposing them to music that they otherwise wouldn't be able to hear. There have been several professional artists who have been outspoken upon the subject, the most obvious one being Lars Ulrich and James Hetfield from Metallica, who had the infamous Napster lawsuit back in the early 90s for their, I believe it was either the Black Album. I believe it was a Black Album. It was one of their albums in the 90s. I forget which one specifically. I'm not a big Metallica fan. But they sued Napster because they said it was stealing, and then there's a lot of backlash towards that. And then recently in an interview I heard Lars Ulrich say that if people don't have access to it, then downloading is justifiable in their situation. More recently, I was watching an interview with Dez from Devil Driver when they were on during the 2012 Mayhem tour, and he said that he supports SOPA, which is the Stop Online Piracy Act. He supports it fully, and he said that he believes anyone who downloads music should be arrested because it is stealing. You are stealing. He said that you are stealing the work of you are effectively stealing work. It's like excuse me. It's like walking onto a farm and stealing cattle or stealing vegetables or something like that. It's the same thing. You're stealing the livelihood from that individual. And to that degree, I can see that he is right. It is stealing. But to lock somebody up for stealing music seems like a pretty weak thing. But again, that's his opinion. He's perfectly entitled to say what he wants to say. Myself personally, though, it's really a matter of opinion. In all honesty, if you want to do it, it's up to you. I've never heard of anyone who has been put in jail for downloading music illegally. I have never heard of that situation yet. I know for a fact that Pirate Bay has been, I don't know if they've been sued or not, but they have been shut down multiple times because of the content that they provide. But they provide more than just music. They provide like programs and games and TV shows and movies. And that gets into a wider spectrum of of other websites on the internet that allow you to go on there and stream movies. There are several that I'm aware of. Um, I was debating on saying them or not, but I realized that there are people who do use them. So sites like Project Free TV is one of them. Sites like there's one that's called Movie 2K.to is another one, and then there's one called TV Duck. Those do mainly TV shows and movies, but again, it's the same idea of streaming medium for free without the consent of the owner of that medium. But again, this is all up for debate. This is just a thought I wanted to get out. I've had people question me on why I do this sort of thing, like why I would buy my albums. But it's just something I do. It's just something I've done for a very, very long time. I prefer to have the copy of the album in my hand versus opening my iTunes and saying, "Hey, there it is." Like it's almost getting to be a point where it's rare to find people who actually have an album collection anymore. Like these albums are going to be with me for a long time. I have no intention of losing them because I know for a fact that they are valuable. Like I know for a fact that the AC/DC albums I have are, because I have the High Voltage album, for example, which was their first one, not the Australian release version, but the North American release, which is to some a valuable album. They'd be more valuable on vinyl, but same idea. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, again, please leave them in the description below, or not in the description, the comment section below. Any suggestions for a video I should make? I can't really do anything in terms of I'm rambling now. I'm going to stop right now. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and see ya.